Our top story tonight, she wasn't even 3 years old, yet today her family is already saying goodbye. Reyghan Moon weighed 14 pounds when she died. Her mother, Devin Moon, is accused of starving her to death. The family spoke with us after her funeral today, and as Hope Ford tells us, they were actually upbeat and celebrating what little time they had with her. Hope?
Yeah, Ryan, her aunt, uncle, grandmother, sister, they all say the same thing. They said that today was about celebrating her bright life and not focusing on her dark end. Her aunt, she would have danced to the music, tried to play with everyone, and even tried to stand on some boxes and preach. That was one of her favorite things to do. And what was extra special about today's funeral is all those bright colors you see everywhere. Reyghan loved rainbows, so her family requested everyone wear bright colors to honor her memory. Her grandmother tells us every time they see a rainbow, they know Reyghan is there.
And we have seen rainbows, and we've talked to them, and right after we talked, the rainbow would disappear.
That was Reyghan's grandmother. She previously told us that she called Family and Children Services trying to get Reyghan removed from her mother's care. Investigators say Devin Moon would leave the toddler alone for up to 12 hours a night while she worked as a dancer at a local club. Devin's been arrested several times before for a DUI and traffic-related crimes. Now she faces a charge of felony murder and cruelty to children in the first degree. Reyghan's grandmother currently has custody of Reyghan's sister. Now, 11 Alive reached out to the Division of Family and Child Services to get that case report and learn more about why Reyghan wasn't removed from the home. And Ryan, we're still waiting on that.
Yeah, Hope Ford. Thank you very much, Hope.